The Good Vibrations podcast is made possible by sponsorship from the Phoenix Light Foundation. Visit thephoenixlightfoundation.co.nz for more information.
Hello and welcome to Good Vibrations NZ. I'm Phyllis Brown and many thanks for your feedback on the September guests and the topics that were discussed. For many of you out there, it seems that September was a month of upheaval or big emotional shifts. So now that we're into springtime and now that we've got that change of season, I think everyone is hoping that we have a bit more settled month. And maybe just a month where we can actually just bask in some warm weather, get some sun on our skin and just really look forward to our summertime and just a bit more relaxed energy. Anyway, today we have Maria Romero in the studio with us today, and Maria is going to be talking about her love and passion with the Monarch butterflies and her school project to raise awareness about the butterflies. So hello and welcome, Maria.
Hi Phyllis, good evening. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So we've known each other quite a wee while now.
4 years, yeah.
And that was just before you started your Monarch butterfly campaign. But just for the listener out there, just tell them a little bit about yourself, about your passion and who you are as a person.
Basically, I've got an older boy. He's 10. He's called Lucas, and I got into Monarch butterflies in 2010. I just went to a play centre and they had this plant bang in the middle of the table and they had these caterpillars crawling around, and I thought it was amazing that anyone could buy these plants from a garden centre and actually watch this amazing magical process. So I bought a couple of plants that year and we just ran out of food and had too many eggs, and we was, but it was just fascinating, and it's my way of bonding with my children. We just spent a lot of our time outside. We were outside people. I've always been a gardener from a young age, and every year I just got more and more plants. But the more plants you get, the more butterflies you come to your garden for more eggs. And I realised garden centres were running out, so I phoned up friends on emergencies and dig their plants out their gardens, come back, so I couldn't see any. It was horrible seeing starving caterpillars die, when you didn't have enough food, but there was no information out there. Everyone was doing it, but everyone was doing the wrong things, like giving them pumpkin, which you shouldn't do. So it's like hands-on learning, really. I was just doing more research and it just grew, and it's just it's amazing just watching your kids coming home from preschool and not wanting to come inside and just want to hang out with the butterflies and make sure they've got enough food, count the chrysalises, so it helps with their maths. It's just amazing, just watching them grow with me and learn together as a family. It's amazing to be in the garden in the sunshine and the excitement when there's going to be a monarch emerge. It just never gets tiring. It's just always amazing. It's just so exciting. And it teaches them about empathy and creatures. When they're planting all the swan plants, they automatically will always grow sunflowers. We grow tomato. We grow heaps of veggies. So I constantly used to give them a basket and they collect all the veggies from the garden and. It's just a knock-on effect from, and then we've got our playtime with the monarchs as well, and the caterpillars.
So what I'm hearing is for you, it was just the birth of your first son, then just sort of naturally just developed into this interest of having something that's an outdoor pursuit that's educational as well.
Yeah. And butterflies teach you so much as well, you one with nature and you actually connected to the environment and nature, and it's great for their mental health, I think, because and when you're out there, it's just you and the plants and the caterpillars, and you've got no worries, and it's just really grounding for them, I think. And they can just be in their own thought and help me, and it's sunny and it's great.
So that sort of brings me on to some of the words that you've used. So you've used eggs and chrysalis. So for people like myself who maybe don't know anything about the growth cycle of a butterfly, and obviously you've mentioned people were giving them the wrong food. My great-grandfather was a great butterfly and moth and beetle person actually, but I never really learnt anything from him. So can you just tell our listener what the growth cycle is, how long each particular aspect takes?
First, you need swan plants in your garden, because monarch butterflies can smell swan plant from 2 kilometres away.
Right.
But there's a lot of people out there that have swan plants, but have not got no eggs, and they're like around farming industries where they probably spray the areas with pesticides and stuff. Like I get a lot from like North Canterbury emailing me, but majority of cases, like, if you have swan plants, the monarchs will sure to come.
Right.
But you need to feed them along the way. You know, you need lots of nectar flowers in your garden, like zinnias, cosmos, sunflowers, rudbeckias, all those bright, colourful flowers, because butterflies eat nectar flowers.
Yeah.
So people get confused saying, oh, they eat swan plants, but a swan plant is the only plant the monarch butterflies will lay their eggs on.
Right, okay, so that's just like that nest.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they smell the swan plant, lay their eggs, they curl their abdomen under, and they put the eggs underneath the leaves, and after about 5 days the egg will hatch, and the caterpillar will come up and probably crawl all the way to the top of the swan plant and eat all the small tender leaves first.
Right.
And the life cycle of a caterpillar is probably about 14, 16 days, depending on the temperature.
Wow.
And in that lifetime, his job job is to eat swan plants.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So the nest of eggs, let's say we call it a nest, or the clutch of eggs that's on there, will they just stick to that one swan plant? That will be their host for those caterpillars? Yeah, okay.
So they stick the eggs, so like if it's windy or raining, they won't fall off, but they don't go in clusters, they just go on one leaf each, they just fly around, lay an egg, do a little dance, twirl, and then they go back and do another egg. And each butterfly can lay about 400 eggs.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and after she's laid all her eggs, she dies 6 weeks later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes them 4 to 5 days, I think you said, so they've got the egg, and then they become the caterpillar, and so they've got that 4 to 6 weeks, or how many days did you say?
So the egg's 5 days, and then you've got the caterpillars just over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It depends on how much food is available.
Yeah.
If he's got one plant to himself, he will just munch. But if he's struggling with heaps of other caterpillars, he will have to eat slower, and fight for his food.
Right.
So we say the average is like about 2 weeks, and then they know once they've had enough swan plants, they crawl away from the plant. Some are lazy, we've all got different personalities. Some will form a J on the swan plant, or some on the window ledges, or guttering, or on your vegetable box. They can crawl away metres away, and find a really secure space out of sunlight.
And that's when they go into that cocoon state, the chrysalis state.
So they will just hang for about 12 to 24 hours, and then the caterpillar the skin will shed and split, so it will turn into a chrysalis from the inside out.
Right.
And then they will do the twisting, and take about 20 minutes, and then the chrysalis will become hard, and it takes about 12 hours to become hard.
Right.
And then hopefully the wasps won't attack it and suck it dry and kill it. But we were okay in Christchurch. In other places around the country, they lose a lot of chrysalises due to wasps, but we're quite lucky in Christchurch. So all going successfully another 2 weeks in chrysalis, and then a beautiful monarch will emerge.
Yeah.
But they're really, it's like nature just blows me away. It will only emerge on a nice warm day.
Right.
They never open at night, ever. It's normally between 10:30 to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because they wait for the heat, because they need the heat to dry their wings.
Right.
So when he or she comes out of the chrysalis, she will crawl to the top and just let all her wings pump out, all the blood and fluid will just get pumped, because the wings are really, really small when she or he comes out the chrysalis, and you think there's something wrong with it, but you always get paranoid. But then nature does its thing, and they just pump all the blood, and the wings get bigger, and they will stay clinging onto the chrysalis or a little branch for about 3 hours before the wings are completely dry, and then we'll just practice flying but not come off the plant.
Right.
And then they will fly away.
Okay.
And that's the time when you can let the butterfly crawl on your hand or your face and take a nice photo and actually get up
just stretching their wings.
Yeah, when you get up close and personal, and that's when like the kids are just amazed. And you know, like sometimes I take chrysalis into school because they've gone black. You know they're going to open up that day.
Right.
And after my school talks, when I'm putting stickers on the kids or just dressing them up with wings, I turn around and they're just coming out.
Yeah.
It's amazing, like, you know?
Yeah.
And the kids love it.
With the monarch butterfly and the patterns on their wings, are they all exactly the same, or is there a slight minute difference to each and every single butterfly?
Good question. They're all like the same, except for the male. He will have 2 scent glands. He'll have a dot on each side of his hind wings, which is like behind the back wings.
Yep.
He will have a dot either side, and that's how you tell between a male and a female. So the 2 dots are for a male, and the female will have no dots.
Right.
And the female veins will be slightly thicker. The black lines are thicker as well.
Yeah.
So that's how you determine the difference between male and female.
Sexes. Wow, okay. And then once they've emerged, so we've talked about the habitat, they need the swan plant to feast on and to be there as that nest type place, and then they emerge, they go off and they become this chrysalis, and then they emerge as the butterfly. So in terms of what we can do to sustain the butterfly population, what are the best plants for them? Is it just the really bright, colourful plants? Yeah,
any like nectar plants. You know, you can go into the garden centres really early in springtime and just get what's out there, because it's really important that they get the food in the springtime, because these are the butterflies that have overwintered in all our parks, and they've not eaten for about 6 to 8 months.
Right.
You know, so they've been in hibernation, you know, with all these frost and the snow and the rain, and only the fittest have survived. So before they can lay their new eggs for the next generation to occur, they need to have nectar flowers out.
Okay.
And for us to sustain the butterflies, we also have to have lots of swan plants that have been over winter, so we've looked after them and cared for them in our greenhouses, because in Christchurch a lot of swan plants die because of the frost. So if you don't cover them, and if we can protect our swan plants from previous years, we're saving a lot of money, and they're ready for the monarch butterflies for the following spring. You know, if they're kept properly, like if you feed them with fertiliser and you put frost cloth, you put them in a greenhouse, keep them warm.
So you've used the word hibernate there, so where do they hibernate? Do they hibernate in big groups? Do they hibernate individually?
Yeah, they are in big clusters. So they're it's quite phenomenal, because these monarch butterflies are cluster into big, large trees. They use the same trees every year, but once their ancestors went the previous year, so it's like phenomenal. Like, have they got genetic, their DNA, they know which park to go to, and they use the same trees. So these butterflies that are overwintering, hibernating, they're only about 6 weeks old. They know winter's coming, and they mustn't like lay their eggs, and they fly to these parks in huge, beautiful clusters. You know, and that's where they form in a bundle sort of thing, called a kaleidoscope of butterflies. And sadly this year there's been reports, we think they've been eaten by rats. Okay. And there's a group of people that are picking up their wings every morning. There's thousands of wings, and the bodies have been eaten. So this is why it's really important now to grow so many swan plants, because they're endangered in New Zealand. We haven't got proof yet, because rats eat at night, and there's not enough people, you know,
out and about at night time.
Exactly, but we're pretty sure, but we've just not captured them. So monarch butterflies definitely need our help.
So we're going to take a break just for a quick message. When we come back, we're going to talk about your vision for Christchurch, but also your school programme. So we'll just take a break, and we'll come back just after this message.
The Good Vibrations podcast would not be possible without the support of Phyllis Brown. For personal development and life coaching sessions, theta healings and spiritual insights, go to phyllisbrown.co.nz to book a session in person, on the phone or by Skype today.
I want to talk about we'll talk about your school program first, because I think that's been the phenomenal, that's the thing that I've watched you grow from the creation of your book to then your school program. So tell the listener about your school program. What does that involve, and what is the aim of your school program?
It was not my purpose. I didn't even think I was going to be a teacher, or it's just phenomenal. It's just incredible how it's all evolved without organically. I never, you would have, if you'd asked me 2 or 3 years ago what I'd be doing, I'd be like, no way. But it's magical. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I remember all the kids. They get loads of hugs, and it's just make a difference. I know I do, because the kids go home, tell their parents, they buy swan plants, they look after the butterflies and caterpillars in the correct way, and they find me or email me, and so the kids are teaching their parents once they've heard me talk. So basically, I wrote this. I was going to write a 2-page guide. It turned into a book, and while it was before it even got printed, parents were finding out about me through schools and telling their preschools and schools. So without even thinking about, what do I talk about, or shall I write a plan, or I was like, I just worry about it on the day, or because I'm always busy with the 3 kids, and I quickly had to find a Monarch uniform and find some wings, get some resources set up, and create a website, and I just did it overnight. I don't know how I did it. And I just like winging it. I'm totally winging this thing, like the butterfly does, but it's just pure word of mouth. I don't get a chance to actually approach schools. If they find out about me, that's brilliant, because I haven't got time to contact them. But so I think a lot of teachers do need help, because they all want to plant bee and butterfly gardens, and they're time poor. They haven't got the resources, so I just go into schools and charge a gold coin donation, and I talk to the kids for about 45 minutes. Put at the end of my talks, I give them wings and masks, and they can become a butterfly and take photos for their school profiles and stuff. And I just teach them about the environment, how we should always care for the caterpillars, teach them the correct way of creating, never touch the caterpillars with our hands, don't touch the plants because they are poisonous. But kids need to eat 10% of their body weight in plants, which is hundreds of dollars worth of leaves. But I can't even get greens down my children, let alone a swan plant leaf down kids, But swan plants are they're always supervised in all the preschools and stuff. And if you teach them early enough about the life cycle, and they're clued up, they know, and they just, I teach them about how the egg's laid. I've got giant monarch butterflies I take in plastic, so I can, and I bring in plants, and I bring in giant caterpillars towards their late stages of life, so they're about to transform. They get to keep the plants, so they can watch the continuation in their classrooms,
So how many, because I think you've had a bit of a goal this year in terms of number of swan plants planted this year. So how many swan plants through your school program have you actually managed to plant?
So what I've just been talking about, that's my school talks that start in term 4, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So I only talk in the summertime, because I only will talk, it's interactive, so I'll only talk if there's swan plants available. But I had this crazy idea last year, because while I was doing talks, I realised teachers were buying lots of swan plants out of their own pockets. It can get expensive. They were driving to garden centres on their way to school every day, and it's $5 or $6 a plant, just purely so their school kids couldn't see the caterpillars starve. And I didn't think that was fair. So last year, I had this crazy idea. I was like, right, I need a couple of schools to get on board, because I haven't got enough room in my greenhouse to plant a lot of swan plants. I just need a couple of schools on board. So I put out this post on Facebook saying, come on guys, I need your help, because classrooms have got the perfect conditions. They've got the sunlight, they've got the heat pump, plus all these children that could walk and watch these plants grow, and they get not addicted to it, but they will care, and it shows them pace. And it shows them patience, because it's a long germination period of 3 weeks. So they've got to be patient, and they care for these like little seed trays, and these plants are not ready till following February. So when I start sowing these seeds in September, they have to wait till they're really, really bushy and large before you release them. Not release them, but put them outside, because as soon as you put them outside, you're going to get eggs on them, but you can't put them out too early. So I was just investing in the future, like so they could grow inside, and they'd be ready for next year when all the garden centres run out of swan plants. And it's a sustainable way of growing. You know, it's much cheaper to grow from seed than it is to buy plants every day. You know. So there, that's what I'm doing. So last year I probably got over 100 schools went on board. And I was like, project swan plant 2000. I do 2000, you know. And then after about a week, it just went crazy, and I was like, I'm going to smash this. I'll just double it. I asked Yates for more seeds, so they gave me more seeds, and it was cool, and it was so cool, like going back into preschools, and their plants were like much bigger than garden centres, and they were so proud, that they were so grateful and that they grew from seed, and they were like, it's an amazing idea, we're going to do it again next year, but we're going to plant even more. So I was like, great. And this year, I thought I'd do it again, just one more time, but it's absolutely killed me, like, because I've done about 130 schools, and I was just fell short of 10,000 seeds. Wow. So we did about 130 schools, and I did about 20 all over, like Wollaston, North Canterbury. I supplied all the soil, gave up all my time. I did it in about 20 days, 130. So it's quite mentally draining, like grouping all the schools, visiting, remembering everyone's names, getting like 12 kids at a time, or sometimes I got given 20. But it was amazing, like the kids who said to me, it's the best day ever. Like really? It's only seeds and mud, but I reckon it's because they know why they're doing it. It's because they are looking after the monarch. They're invested, they want to protect the monarchs. Like everybody loves the monarch butterflies. You know, it's not just simple like we're planting a sunflower, but we do that also, but it's because they know why they're doing it. They want to help. You know, they know the monarch butterfly is endangered. And it's so nice, and like that, because not every kid just wants to do maths and English. You know, like kids, like they stay to the end. They swept up, and they were asking me questions along the way, and we do gardening at home, it's brilliant, we love this, and we've had such a great day, and that's why I do it, you know.
So for you globally, or just your vision for Christchurch, because I think we've talked in the past where there's maybe talk about a butterfly park going, I don't know if it's still going to be in that sort of South Brighton area, and this sort of your butterfly pathway and all those sorts of things. So for Christchurch, is that project still on the cards, do you feel?
Like we did quite a lot of work working with the council last year, and all the community boards, and there is a team still, but it's on hold at the moment. I think the butterfly path's still going ahead.
Good.
It will eventually happen, but we just need people on board, and we're going to do big crowdfunding. But in the meantime, there's another project in Turham Street. It opens in a couple of weeks. I've created I just started up a Give a Little page, because I did the murals for a school.
That's right, we saw that.
And I got so many emails saying, where is it? And it wasn't really appropriate for like strangers or public to go on school grounds. So I was like, I'll do another one. But this time, like, they can pay it forward, and people can pay like shipping a dollar, and I can get it, because I can't afford to donate another one, get it in town. And this girl found out about me, and this is new land that's opening up. We're going to do a big butterfly, and it's opening, and we're going to have a butterfly, not a park, it's like a butterfly house. So it's like a dome, hexagon dome. That's it's in a beautiful community area of Turham Street, and we're going to get St Michael's School to be the guardians. So I'm going to teach the children how to look after the the butterfly house, so they can just cross the road and they'll be like butterfly musketeers, you know.
Because that's your page. Butterfly Musketeers. Because
I can't do all this by myself. You know, I need to clone me out big time, you know, because I'm getting calls all around New Zealand and I can't be everywhere, you know, because I like a balance in my life. I don't want it to become a big obsession, you know.
I think it's awesome that you've brought awareness to the community about butterflies. You've turned it into an educational program, and you know you're informing the adults of the future. You're informing those beautiful young souls on what's needed and how to actually take care of their our future, the ecosystem.
Yeah, I wish I learned a lot more like that at school, you know. I wouldn't have to struggle and do it the hard way, you know. That was amazing, because everywhere I go to, every teacher's got a story about their nans when they grew up. The nans used to have big, large swan plants, but it brings back a lot of joy and memories, you know, so... it's just beautiful to hear so many stories, you know, about when they're growing up.
So if someone wanted to contribute to your Give a Little page, how can you do that? I think
it's actually closed now. We've got enough.
Okay, that's cool.
That'd be nice. If they could contribute by buying a packet of seeds and growing their own swan plants and just buying nectar flowers just to brighten up their gardens, and you're also helping the bees. The bees are in decline, everyone knows about that, so you're helping beautiful pollinators like the bees and the butterflies just by buying plants.
Beautiful. And you've got your Monarch Butterfly book, so is that available on your website? What is your website called?
It's www.thebutterflymusketeers.com, and you can buy it online.
And if people wanted to get in touch with you personally, is it best to go through your Facebook page or just your website?
Butterfly Musketeers on my Facebook page. It's funny, like I only did that Facebook page just to add thousands of Monarch photos on my hard drive, and I was like, I don't want to keep spamming my friends, putting them on Facebook. I'll just start a new one. And it was just a hobby, just me putting photos on my Facebook page and become a little community of like other people loving their butterflies and stuff. And but every photo I put online, it was a fun fact as well, and don't do this, and this is a great idea, and do this, and it got bigger and bigger, and you know that's when I was like, I'll write a book sort of thing, you know. It just evolved, and each school I go to, I tweak my talks. I just get a feel of the children, and the teachers want to get involved, and I'm constantly changing and coming up with new ideas.
Beautiful. So we've got a small audience in the studio here this evening. So any questions from the audience? Any thoughts or feelings?
I've learned so much.
You've learned so much, I know, God.
You just see a butterfly and that's it.
Do you have a goal for swan plants for growing for next year?
No comment. I'm still recovering. I say no. I thought this job would be perfect because it works around my school hours and the school holidays. But in the last couple of years, it's going into my winter because I'm writing a lot of articles for magazines in the winter time, doing stuff on website, doing a lot of community projects and parks and so on. You know, so we'll see. But I might do it virtually next year, I don't know. It will happen, I will make sure it happens, but it's just cloning me out sort of thing.
That's it.
It's cool. Plant that they prefer as opposed to just the swan plant that they...
They will only, so you're talking about the caterpillars or the...
Yeah, the caterpillar.
They will only eat swan plants, this is why it's so special.
Okay.
Yeah, they only lay their eggs on swan plants, and the caterpillar will only eat a swan plant because it contains a nutrient called cardinals, and the cardinals will help. It's like vitamin C, vitamin D. You know, as adults, we need to eat the proper, correct vitamins. And if they don't eat their swan plants, they don't get the nutrients out of that plant. They don't form into a butterfly correctly. They come out with deformed wings, or they form a J and try and get into that chrysalis, and they just fall. You know, so you're wasting your time. So this is why I wrote a book, because people were feeding them courgettes, cucumber, pumpkin. You're wasting your time. If you want to raise butterflies correctly, plan ahead, grow your seeds from scratch, or you buy loads of plants from the garden centres, like in October, September, November, and put them to the side and let these plants go really big. Cover them with like a strawberry net, or just cover them so they to avoid the eggs going on the plant too early, because you want to get these plants really bushy first, you know. So the plants will last you longer, sort of thing. And just cull the eggs. You want about 4 or 5 eggs on each plant, you know, because they are busy butterflies, you know. They will just lay as many eggs as possible. I mean, you can't have that many eggs on each plant, not if you haven't got enough. You know, just planning ahead constantly, you know. Yeah, and just avoid pesticides in your garden and weed kill and all stuff like that. Try go organic, and because more sprays you have, you're going to affect like the bees and all the insects as well, the ecosystem as well.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in and just being part of my life. It's been a joy just watching you go from, you know, one thing to the other and just
me as well,
blossom
completely,
over the last 4 years.
When you first met you, I was just into my crystals.
Yep.
No, I've not even got time for. I have got time for crystals and stuff, but I don't want like the bottom. Yeah. It's
Beautiful.
amazing. It's just a balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all things that make me happy and colourful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll take a break, and we'll be back after this message.
The Good Vibrations podcast would like to thank the Phoenix Light Foundation for their support. Unlock your passion for crystals and open yourself up to the world of crystal healing with our self-guided crystal course that you can complete at your own pace online. With guided videos and written support exercises, you can enhance your life with crystal energy. Get 50% off today with the code PHOENIX50. Go to thephoenixlightfoundation.co.nz to start your journey.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our beautiful journey with Maria here in the studio today. I know I, for one, have learnt a lot about the life of a butterfly, and, you know, there's such a precious sort of fleeting moment that butterflies have in our lives. So let's get growing. Let's get those swan plants out there. Next week we have in the studio Chris Bennett, and he's going to talk about extreme sports and his fundraising challenge, which I believe is to raise $1 million for charity. I think it's an awesome challenge. I think he's an inspirational guest. I'm sure you will find him inspirational too. So remember to join us next week. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram and the website, which is phyllisbrown.co.nz. Just click on the podcast page and you can listen to our previous episodes. Remember to subscribe to our shows, our podcasts. You can do that via Apple Podcasts or iTunes and Spotify, or even find us on YouTube. The good thing about every show, there's something different that you'll take away from it. There's something inspiring. Our guests I find are particularly inspiring. They get up and they do their passion, they follow their passion, and they create passion. And that's the one good thing. That's the pure message about this show. It's about spreading good vibrations. So subscribe to our podcast and spread the good vibrations wherever you are. Bye for now.
This podcast was brought to you by the Phoenix Light Foundation. For personal development courses, visit thephoenixlightfoundation.co.nz and use the code PHOENIX50 for 50% off all courses.